Greetings again, it's Globbs back with another subscriber replay on World of Tanks. This time, it's Kyono in his KV-5. Standard battle on Lakeville, 44% chance to win. I think the two guys in their number 2 platoon on the enemy team are making a difference here, in their T-29s. So,
time to roll out.
Reason I wanted to show this replay, it's nothing spectacular in the way of damage. He does a fair amount, but it's what he actually does when he gets into the town. Now, for those of you who don't know the KV-5, which I don't know it very well, it has some really prominent weak points. Those nipples or R2-D2 turrets on the front are prominent weak spots, and that, with the new accuracy modifications in 8.7, has given quite a few tanks in the game what I like to call an indirect nerf. It's so easy to hit them, which means that any sort of tank with a half-decent accuracy and decent penetration can absolutely drill this tank, and lots of others. For example, the AT series, the British AT series, slams a decent shot into the 59-16 there. All good. Which is just a thing for Russian guns. Accuracy with a Russian gun? What? What is this? I have it on good authority that the gun on the KV-5 isn't exactly fantastic, but then again, with the exception of maybe the T-34, none of the guns are absolutely outstanding. They've all got weaknesses, which is a good thing for wargaming. They haven't made the premium tanks overpowered or to the point where, you know, they're better than their counterparts that you can get through experience, with probably the exception being the Type 59. The Type 59 is broken. Well, it's not broken, I'm lying. It's a very, very good medium, and played in the right way, it's very, very difficult to deal with. So, the 59-16 delayed the heavies long enough to let the enemy mediums take the outskirts of the town, which is going to be just a delay in action if you look what's coming around the corner. But they are using their hit points to delay them, to allow the enemy heavies to get in position to hopefully take the town. So, Panthers dealt with, Indian Panzer next. Now, it's around about this point that Kyono realises that he's in trouble. Takes 2 big hits, loses a good 700 hit points. Let's have a look, see where those hit. Yep, straight in the R2-D2 turret. Prominent weak point for this tank. And he takes another one in the side of the turret, so penetrate the side of his turret, and his R2-D2. Now, he starts driving in reverse. I don't know the stats of the KV-1, but I know from personal experience I have actually bounced an IS 122mm shell off the arse of one of these things at pretty much point blank range. So I don't know, I'm going to research the armour on these things. I haven't got the stats in front of me. Now this is, he's firing at the front end of a 110. 110 is the, I think it's the tier 8. Yeah, the tier 8 Chinese, which is basically an IS-3, carbon copy of an IS-3. So the frontal armour is very, very strong, and he's angling it reasonably well. He is presenting a flat surface, but he's Kyono's side scraping using his arse first. He doesn't want to bring out that prominent weak point. Now, is that something that you do in a KV-5? I don't know. I'm very in it. I've never even played a KV-5. I don't own one, and I've never really watched a video on them. So, is this something you do in a KV-5 now? Drive it backwards? That seems pretty strange that Wargaming is allowing this to go on. You know, the tank's that weak from the front that people have to drive it backwards to get it to be effective. Ah well. Anyway, we digress. So they're holding their own in the town. They are being presented a few problems. The middle lane's been taken. The T-29s I mentioned at the start. The Unicum player has managed to get himself 3 kills. T-29. So Kyono's been tracked. He's getting hammered, so he realises he has to use his repair kit. But he's only taken track damage. He hasn't actually taken any health pool damage since the start of the match, so they're shooting at his tracks all the time. Which, you know, hey ho, the Indian Panzer probably realises he can't penetrate. I mean, I'm going to look at the stats and the armour of this thing at the end. Probably should have done it before I did the video, really, but never mind. I'll do it at the end. I might even put it up on the video. Go on to World of Tanks Wiki. Just have a look at the armour. So the town's pretty much won, really, give or take. It's been spotted again. There's only 4 tanks on the enemy team remaining. 2 of them spotted, so there's 3 in the town and the artillery. 3001H. That, I think that's going to be a tier 5 heavy tank in the new patch. Not sure if I remember what Jingles was saying rightly. There's 3601H is becoming a tier 6 heavy tank. It's basically the mini Tiger. Which has always been the mini Tiger anyway, it's just been classed as a medium. As you can see, it's still reversing, lot. This is brilliant. I see you, baby. Shaking that ass. I don't think he really needs to turn his arse onto these tanks, though. Depends what the V6 or 3601's firing. If he's firing the Konish, you might need to. Nope. He's firing the 88. That 110's still sticking around, though. He's made a bit of a nuisance himself. Oh, you know what's going to happen here. Track him. Ramming speed. Dunk. That is not what you want to see coming towards you. A KV-5 downhill. That is not going to end well. Especially with a super heavy spore liner on it. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, it's just a mop-up operation now. I'm going to kill this 110. Depends which way he's facing, whether Kyono is going to get the to the health or not. He's going to get the hit points or the experience. Oh, and there's his ass. It's all she wrote for the 110. He played a good game, the 110. He tanked his corner, or tanked his street. Cool. Not a bad replay. So KV-5s, drive them in reverse. Who would have known? I've got post-game stats, and I'll have a little bit of a look on World of Tanks Wiki. I'll do it now, actually. See if I can dig out some stats for this thing, because I can't find it on the garage. It's not. It's one of those things you buy from the gift shop, and only if you go and look at it if you own it. So I'll have a look now. Right then, let's try and dig out some stats on the KV-5. This is World of Tanks Wiki. Very, very useful page. Just want to take note of the address. It's got lots of different bits and pieces on all the different countries, the tanks, something about modules. It explains things about equipment, crew, how the ammunition works, consumables, and all that kind of good stuff, and a basic how-to guide on the game, really. Bits and pieces like that. It's really, really useful, useful site to use. So let's have a look. USSR gives you a list of all the tanks, even the tanks that aren't currently in game, like the BTSV and things like that, which is all good. T50-2. Oh. Moment of silence for the T50-2. You will be missed. Mediums and heavies. So, heavy. KV-5. Okay. Gives you all the different modules. Looking at this, hull armor, 180 at the front, 150 at the sides, and 140 at the rear. So, yes, very viable option to shoot, reverse this thing round if you angle it correctly. Yeah, that explains it. That explains it. It's the same armor, 180, 150, 140 all the way around. It gives you options of the gun, 170mm Ziz, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the same gun as the one on the T150. It's basically got the T150's gun on it, which on a T150 is okay. 167mm of penetration. It's a tier 6 gun basically. Or it's a tier 6 heavy tank gun on a tier 8 premium. So not great. 7 rounds a minute. Shit accuracy. Aim time's garbage. But the rest of the tank, it's just a big block of armour that just shoots. It does get, however, preferential matchmaking. This thing will not see a tier 10, which is good. Some of the premiums do get preferential matchmaking. This one is one of them. However, I still wouldn't want to be facing an E75 in this thing. And it also gives you a little bit of pros and cons. Fast for a heavy tank. Is it? Oh, 40 kph. Yeah, but it doesn't get there very often. More hit points, excellent armor, large mass, high DPM compared to tier 8. You see, the phrase DPM, I like the phrase DPM to describe the difference between two guns, alpha damage DPM, but it has got high rate of fire, but you've got a pen to do DPM. Yeah, special matchmaking, high credit, good rate of fire, excellent side scraper. Yeah, it is, with that armor. 150 side armor, that's troll. Slow turret traverse, low hull traverse, very low penetration, very large silhouette, high priority. R2D2 mini turret on the hull is as large and obvious, easy to hit, allows intelligent player to eliminate his tank easy. Yeah, intelligent player. Whatever. There aren't many of those in the game, from what I've seen. But if this thing fires gold, it does get 290mm penetration, I suppose. It's not too bad. The ammunition's cheap, though. Look at that. 270 mils of 270 credits per shot. I would say this would be a reasonably good tank to make a decent amount of money. Right, so there you go. There's World of Tanks Wiki, where I get all my pearls of wisdom from. That's what I use. So there you go. There's another bit of insight into my world, as it were. So what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a look at those post-game stats. Coming right up. So post-game stats then. 109,000 credits made on a premium tank. Anything 100k plus is worthy of mention. 1800 experience, but to be honest, unless you put in crews from other tanks in this, it's not really that important. Don't, guys, ever buy crews for your premium tanks. Stick your crews from your other tanks in them. So many people make this mistake, it's unbelievable. If a crew member is from a heavy tank in the Russian line, they can go into the KV-5 and do not suffer any penalties for doing so. Basically use these as training aids. He did 3,244 damage and he spotted 1,000 damage in a heavy tank. Hit 17 out of 18 shots, which isn't bad going with a Russian gun. He hit and damaged 6 enemy tanks and killed 1. So not a monster game, but the reason I wanted to show you that game was simply because I didn't realise you had to drive for KV-5 in reverse to make it viable. So yeah, not too bad showing at all. Nothing spectacular. Let's have a bit of a look-see. Had a lot more experience than anybody else on his team. 1200 as opposed to the next one down being 900, which is a T34. Did a lot more damage than T34. So it's all good. The two T29s on the enemy team, the 2 platoon, they did the best on the enemy team, which was expected of them. They were both better. And the little 110, he'd had a good game on the enemy team. Everyone else, yeah, mediocre. Not too bad at all. The guys in the valley did alright. By the looks of it, the box tank SU-100Y only fired twice. But hey ho. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad, not too shabby at all. Made 98,000 credit profit. Received potential damage of 4,000. Not bad at all. Yeah, that is, you're going to see a lot of that potential damage received on KV-5s, which I have on good authority, does actually count towards your experience. The amount of a kicking you take, which part of me doesn't like, because if you don't play tanks with high armor, you're not going to see huge values of that. So it does make things with really high armor more viable to get more credits and experience. So things like the KV-5, T34 if it's hull down, etc., etc. But your weaker armor tanks don't get a lot of that. But then again, the weaker armor tanks tend to be able to put out a bit more DPM, a bit more damage. But you know, it's just one of those things. You're getting hit and it's bouncing, so that means your enemy's not doing right, or you've got troll armor. You know, I don't know. I'm just moaning. I think it's just one of those things that really gets me. Oh yeah, you get experience for getting shot at. Well, no, you should get experience for not getting shot at. You know, or for them missing, or you doing something. You know, I suppose, but angling does take skill, I know. But anyway, let's start a can of worms. Leave the things in the comments. Yeah, so not a bad showing. I just wanted to show that replay simply because he's driving in reverse backwards. That's brilliant. I mean, I've heard rumours that that's what you need to do, but that's the first evidence I've seen of it. So anyway, right guys, if you enjoyed that, it's another subscriber replay. They are coming thick and fast. I've got a few more in the pipeline to do. Again, I have said it before, I have had comments that I shouldn't be doing subscriber replays, should do my own stuff, but I am actually putting my own stuff up as well, so just let me know what you think. If you like them, I'll keep doing them. You know, if you want your replays put up here, I'll make best effort to get them up. Obviously, I have got a life outside of making videos. So, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Tell your friends as well. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we get out there, the more videos I get coming in, the more the content changes. You know, the more content we're going to get. With the upcoming patch, I can only do current patch replays. My email is in the description below. So if you want to send me one, feel free. I don't guarantee I'm going to be able to read and look at every single one. If it gets a bit daft and get lots of people sending stuff in. But I will make every effort to try and reply and post as many videos. Do not get offended if I do not use them. Alright, I'm not going to put just anything up here. It has to be something a little bit exceptional, a little bit strange that I believe is worthy. So, that's me done for now. As far as I'm concerned, that's Glob signing off. Take care now. Bye bye.